Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for this transformation I'm about to do. I literally am so excited. Obviously, I'm recording this in future time, so I already know what this is going to be and look like. But just thinking back to the start of all this, it's crazy. I feel like it's been a 2-week long process, but I'm really excited to share with you what I came up with. I think it's been close to a month now since I actually drove and went to IKEA to get these cabinets. And I decided to go with the Rudstas versus the Millsbill Wide and Vitjo. I really liked the look of the Rudstas and the idea of having 3 cabinets versus 1. And I do have a Rudsta tall already, so I was a little familiar with that. And I'm happy with my decision. I really like the look of the Rudstas. So I have 2 Rudsta talls and a Rudsta wide, and I got them in black. I was opening the Rudsta wide first because that one, I'm not familiar with. So I was trying to see all the pieces and what all I needed to build this one. I actually was going to do them one by one, but then I decided, you know what? I think it might be easier if I open all the boxes up and build them, step 1 on all 3 and then move to step 2 and step 3. In my head, I thought it would be easier doing it that way. So here's everything all opened, and I was getting just a feel for everything. And then I decided to work at the kitchen counter so I would get off the floor. And so I started building the base and just moving, step by step. The instructions were pretty easy to follow. Like I said, I've built the talls before, and sometimes I feel like instructions can be hit or miss. I feel like the only difference between the wide versus the tall is it had these little legs. There were 4 of them, and I was a little confused here. You can see me thinking like which one was which because they were each different. I don't know if that makes sense, but I figured it out. I finished up with the legs on the wide, and then I got the talls back. And after this, the next part, if anybody knows who builds these cabinets for greenhouses, drilling the hole is the hardest part. I feel like I'm not very good at it, so I was trying to get my husband to help me. He didn't really know how to do it that well either, to be honest. We kind of jacked this middle one up, but the other 2 went more smoothly. I decided to do the hole for the wide in the center since it would be primarily at the back of where the plug was. And then for the talls, I did the holes on the opposite sides because one is going on each side of the Rudsta, so I wanted the hole to be closest to the outlet, if that makes sense. So I got those bases connected, and the next part was the wallpaper, which I am so excited to do this part. This is the wallpaper that I chose. I found this online and it is beautiful. It was, as soon as I saw it, I knew instantly that this was going to be the wallpaper of choice. It has like this muted tone, but it has like pinks, greens, butterflies, flowers. I was so happy about it. And then it took me some time. So here is the back side of the wide, and I had to basically line this up perfectly as to where the wallpaper, when I put this on the cabinet, was facing the right direction. I don't know if that makes any sense. It took me a minute to get it laid out like this. And then the thing about this wallpaper in particular, I don't work with wallpaper, so it's not something I am that good at, but the design after a bit repeated, and so what I was trying to figure out was how to line it up as to where the pattern going across matched, if that makes any sense. And I wanted it to be cohesive as it went down the 3 shelves. It's hard to explain, I guess, but it took me probably a couple hours. And this first piece I messed up. I was practicing with a piece, and but it all ended up working out in the end. After some time, I was able to get all the bubbles out and smoothed it out, and I got it to line up perfectly. In this next shot, you'll see like my entire mess. So I just did the wide here, but it matches going across and up and down. So I don't know how it worked out like this. It just did. I think I just got really lucky, honestly. It took a while and it was a bit of a hassle, but it worked and it's so beautiful and I'm so happy with it. And then after I got it all laid out, I attached it to the wide and I put the front doors on and everything. And so this is what this looks like. And I was so extremely pleased with it. I was so excited. And then I'm showing you the time. It was like 10 p.m. and I finished up with the Rudsta talls. The talls were a lot easier to do with the wallpaper because it was just one long piece. The Rudsta wide is what took a little bit longer. We are back for day 2 and I was ready to get this day started. I decided to go with this wall here for the Hoya cabinets. It took me a bit to decide, but I figured this would be the best spot, mainly because behind the table there wasn't enough room to get around, versus on the side here I had more room to actually open the cabinet doors, if that makes sense. And here they are all 3 together, just chef's kiss. I'm so in love. And so the next thing I wanted to go ahead and knock out was this beautiful mirror that I got. It has flowers, birds, it matches the wallpaper perfectly. When I was trying to find a mirror I wanted, I wasn't sure what to go with, and then when I saw this one I just had to get it. Originally I had planned on doing a gallery wall with a small little mirror, but this was just the icing on top of the cake. It was honestly the perfect piece, and so I found a stud right in the center of the wall to hook this to. And it just was meant to be. It worked out and I absolutely love the mirror. And so moving on is the lights that I wanted to hang on top of the cabinet. Now these here you have to, buy a separate grow ball, but it screws into the wall, and I had planned on using some cord covers to hide the cord itself, but the base, I really liked the design of the lampshade. I wanted something more cylinder that I could hide a grow light inside and it wouldn't be super noticeable. And I wanted black, of course, since the cabinets were black. When I came across these, honestly, I just felt like it was perfect. And so these are the cord covers here. These are technically in like a white shade, and I do end up painting them to the wall color, which you guys will see here. But I got a box that has straight cord covers like this, and then it has little pieces that you connect on the end so that you can actually, like if you want to curve the cord. I had never used anything like this either, so it was going to be an experiment. I found the center of the Rudsta cabinets and I kind of eyeballed where I wanted them to sit on the wall, and I was kind of anal about making sure everything was centered and lined up. I had a level that I was using, but these were pretty easy to drill in. I didn't need a stud or anything like that. These lampshades weren't super heavy. After drilling that metal piece in, it was time to connect the lampshade to that. So there's tiny little screw holes on the side that tighten around it, so it was pretty easy to do. I was trying to see how it would adjust and everything, and so that's what it's looking like once it's on the wall. I didn't realize that it was dimmable. I mean, I guess I did, but I didn't really understand that until I actually put a grow light in there. I actually bought the wrong kind of grow light, so you'll see here. And then Luna, of course, was attacking this little laser light thing that I was using to level. She was so cute. So yeah, I'm drilling the other side of the cabinet now, and I just made sure that lined up perfectly to the other one. And again, just repeating, the same process. That's what it's looking like from far away. I was just making sure it looked even, and I liked the way that it looked. Giving you a thumbs up there. I realized they weren't long enough to reach the outlet, so then I had to run out and get some extension cords. So I did that real quick and then came back, and then here I'm working on the cord covers. I was just making sure to line them up so that they were straight up and down on the wall. So I was using my little laser light level thing again, and the cords fit in here perfectly. And then I had to end up cutting it, or no, I didn't cut these ones. I just did it around the dimmable switch. So there's a little gap, where that switch is that you'll see here. It does come with self-adhesive strips that you connect onto the back, and then it just sticks on really well. The instructions did say to make sure that you had it lined up well before you actually pressed it on, because it would pull the tape off. Like, it's pretty sticky. So yeah, I was trying to make sure it was perfectly straight before I actually pressed it on. And there you can see where I did it around the switch thing there. But I do plan on putting some plants, on top of the cabinet, so I feel like it would hide that. It wouldn't be super noticeable. Just making sure everything was pressed down well. And yeah, I really like the look of the cord covers for sure. I feel like it added like an extra little touch to it. Here's Luna again being cute, trying to get the laser light. She loves this light. every time, like, she would know instantly, like without even the light being on, if I brought it out. I guess it made a noise or something. I don't know. But she was so cute. The grow lights that I bought to put in here are from GE. They were just like a basic grow light. And you can see me here. I was putting the lampshade on. And then after I had that screwed on, I had tested the grow light and it turned on. I'm like, oh yes, this is gonna be perfect. And then I realized that it was flashing. I'm like, wait, what is this? Is not compatible. And then on the actual bulb, it says non-dimmable. And I even tried a Sansi one, which I thought was dimmable, and it wasn't working either. The Sansi one was like not coming on at all. It was like super, super dim. It was really weird. So I ended up finishing the cord covers, and then I was going to have to jump online and order a different kind of grow bulb. But that's what it's looking like, and this would be behind the cabinets where the two cords come out. I wasn't going to paint these, but then I decided, just to help it blend a little bit better, I decided to go ahead and paint the strips the same wall color that we have. And I only was going to paint as to where, like, halfway down, because I really didn't need to paint behind the cabinet, but I ended up just painting the whole thing. It wasn't a lot to actually paint, and I'm glad that I did, because it did make it tie in a little bit better and made it all cohesive. I think I just ended up doing like one coat up and down, and then I also did the sides just so that it would all match and everything. It was actually really therapeutic painting, I'm not gonna lie. It was so nice. I normally don't like painting wall stuff, but this was a lot of fun. And so here's a shot of what it looks like once it was all painted. It really did blend in perfectly, and then from far away with the cabinets in front, this is what the setup is looking like. And next up was the grow lights and cord and fan situation, cable management, probably one of the most time consuming parts. I have the fans, the extension cord for the fans, because it's not long enough on its own. I think I got like 3 or 4 of those. And then I also have my strip lights. I got them in 2 sizes, so I bought the 2-foot for the wide cabinet, and then the 1-foot for the tall Rudstas. I also have a couple outlet plugs. This one is specifically for the fans because it needs a USB plug. And then I bought these on Etsy. These are magnets to hold the grow lights. I actually ended up not needing these because I had no idea the black strip lights were magnetized, but I find that out later. And then I have the acrylic shelving, which I'm excited for. And so when I bought these fans, I bought a lot of this stuff a while ago. I didn't open them up. I didn't realize the 2-pack was them connected. I thought they were 2 separate fans. So now I'm like, great, now I have to reorder separate fans, and that's going to be another 2 days, and it's going to hold this entire progress up for 2 days. I could just see my mind whirling that it's going to be delayed a couple days. And so these are the black strip lights, which I have not used the black ones before. Luna had to discover. She's so cute. So I'm starting with the Rudsta wide here and the longer 2-foot grow lights. And again, I have not used the black ones. I've only ever purchased the white ones. And I was getting ready to use these magnets that I bought, and I had a little trouble getting these on. This is what it looks like. This was from a small shop on Etsy, and I guess they 3D print these maybe. I thought they slid right on, but it wasn't working. I thought maybe I got the wrong size or they didn't fit right. I was a little anxious about it. I was like, oh no. And then I realized that it kind of snaps on from the back side. Definitely a very tight fit for these lights. It still slides and stuff, but yeah, definitely a snug fit by snapping. And then I got the second one on, and then bam, I was shocked by how powerful it was. Definitely strong magnets for sure. Here's an up close of what those look like. And so I was going to do 2 on the top shelf, and then I decided to try and stick the second one up, and I'm like, what the heck? It's already magnetized, because the white strip lights weren't magnetized, at least from what I remember. I know the black is newer, but I was just like, what the heck? So yeah, then I decided to hang the acrylic shelves because I needed these hung in order to hang the grow lights on the second level because the grow lights attach to the acrylic shelves. So these I got on Etsy as well. I ended up going with this butterfly shelf and I got a full shelf for the wide, and I was trying to decide what kind of shelving I wanted because I knew Hoyas with trellises, they wouldn't really fit in between shelves, so I needed a little bit of a breakup in between the shelves in order for some of the taller ones to fit. So I put it on the top shelf for now, but I decided to actually move it to the bottom, which I do later, but I really love the look, and I just use the little attachments that came with the Rudsta. And then the other thing I was confused about with these strip lights was the cords that came with them. I had these longer cords, which I completely forgot that I needed longer ones, so I was going to try and find them on Amazon and order them anyway. But then so these longer ones came with the T5s. I had like 5 or 6 of these, and then the shorter ones came with the 2-foot T5s. So I have 2 different cord sizes, which ended up working out because I didn't need to order the long ones. But I was just puzzled at why the longer cord came with the shorter lights and the shorter cord came with the longer lights. I don't know. I'm glad it worked out. I don't know if it was an accident or that's the way that it comes. So yeah, the grow light situation was very confusing. But it all worked out in the end. So you can see here, I just attached the grow lights to the top. I didn't use the clips that I bought. Now these little white clips I did buy. These I bought with the acrylic shelving because you can see here I already did one. This attaches the grow light to the acrylic shelf. It uses the metal piece that comes with the lights. And then you use the screw to go on the underside of that metal clip and then screw that into the white piece so that it attaches onto the acrylic shelves. Because this was see-through under the acrylic shelves, I decided I didn't want these stickers showing, so I had to remove those. This one here came off good, but the other one I had to use some Goo Gone. I actually had to use some Goo Gone on quite a bit of stuff because the stickers were not coming off that well. But I like the clean look of having the stickers off from the top of the shelves, if that makes sense. I was trying to decide how many grow lights to do on the middle shelf versus the bottom shelf. So I have 2 up top, and then I only bought a set of 8 grow lights of the 1 foot, so 4 for each of the tall Rudstas. I decided to just do 1 on the middle shelf, and you can see me putting those little white pieces in to hold the grow light. And so this screw here just feeds up through there, and then you clip that on to the top of the grow light on the back, and that just screws onto those little white things. So it's perfect to hold the grow lights. These little clips are new to me, so it took me a minute, to get them figured out. But then once they started hooking on, it was pretty easy. I was able to knock out this part pretty quickly, but it just snaps right on. And so I'm really glad I have these longer cords because I don't remember ever getting long cords with my strip lights before. I've always had to buy separate longer cords. So I don't know if this is new or not, but I don't know why the longer ones didn't come with the longer cords. And so for here on the bottom shelf, I was trying to decide how to do this grow light. I thought about, well, maybe I should do 2 on the middle and then none underneath, but I went ahead and decided to do 1 on the bottom at the diagonal because that's the way that the shelf had the grow light fitting. I ended up finishing all the grow lights on all 3 shelves, and then I was kind of at a standstill. I needed to order cord covers, I needed new grow lights, and I needed new fans. So I was kind of bummed I couldn't really do anything else at that point. So yeah, we will be back probably in a couple days when more of the stuff comes in. Good morning. It is a couple days later and we have our new grow bulbs. This here is a 3-pack. I think it was only $9.99. It's pretty cheap. And the brand is that there. I have no idea. It does say it's a full spectrum and it's dimmable, the keyword being dimmable. So it should work in there. I had high hopes, let's just say that. So I went ahead and put one in and tested it out. And moment of truth, it works. It actually looks a lot more bright on camera than it does in person, but I still feel like it's gonna give off enough light. At least I hope so. And then with the fans here, I decided to go ahead and keep one of the double fans that I got to use in the wider Rudsta. And then I bought two of the single fans, and I'll use one of these in each one of the taller Rudstas. So basically I have 4 fans total, but 2 are joined, and then I'm just going to return the other one. I also got these magnet clips. They have a little tiny magnet on the one side and then a hook that screws in, so it looks like this. And then I'll use 2 of these per fan. And so I will take one of these hooks and fit it around the back here, and it fits perfectly. It's a little bit of a snug fit there, but it works out. And then yeah, we'll just snap this to the top on the inside. I decided to go ahead and work on hanging the fans and get that done and out of the way because I was waiting on the cord covers. I honestly think they were coming later that evening. I was waiting on the Amazon truck to come. But the extension part will get connected and get these hung up, which is really simple. They literally just attach as you see here. And I decided, because this cabinet was on the left side, that everything would go to the right, and the hole that we drilled in the bottom was on the right because the cords would be closer to the outlet, because I didn't know if I was going to have enough room with the extension, if it would reach the outlet, and I actually had plenty of room, so it worked out. I think I probably had like a foot left or so to work with. And so I got that one all done, and I was trying to see how the cords would line up because some of the cords would actually be double with the cable covers. And then same thing, this one here we're going to attach to the left side of the cabinet and get that all wired through. And then moving on to the middle cabinet, so this is where we have the double fans, and this was the only thing that I wasn't sure on how to do. I didn't know if the fan cord was long enough to reach the bottom shelf. I knew I wanted a fan on the top shelf, I just didn't know how I wanted to go about it. I didn't know if I wanted the fan in the middle or on the edge, because this one, the hole that we drilled is in the middle of the cabinet, so it really doesn't matter where the fans go. I just was trying to figure out where the heck to place them. Thing in the middle here actually did stretch to the bottom shelf, which I do figure out later because that's what I really wanted. I wanted a fan more so on the bottom to reach the plants down there. You can see me trying to figure out where to put them. And the other thing I was trying to, or I didn't realize, was how to hang the fan on the other shelf. And then I realized that the metal piece that's hanging out that holds the acrylic shelves, you know, with the cabinets, that backside wasn't completely flush. There's like a little 1/2-inch metal piece that the acrylics sit on, because you know originally the cabinets come with glass shelves, and so that little piece of metal actually held the fan magnet perfectly that you can see here. It comes out just a little bit, but there's enough power that it holds the fan perfect. And again, like, the fans aren't heavy, so it ended up working out perfectly. And then I was thinking, why don't we go ahead and start hanging some more stuff and start decorating while we're waiting. So this Hoya sign is beautiful. I also got these mirrors that I don't think I'm going to use now, and this other shelf I got from IKEA when I was there, which I'm really excited for. And I have this bracket here that I'm going to use to hang a Hoya that I potted, was it last month? And so here's an overview of this space, and I was trying to figure out how I wanted to design this and where to place things. The beautiful sign here is actually metal, which is kind of cool, and it wasn't heavy or anything, so I could easily just use a nail and get that hung. But what I didn't realize was the other shelf, the IKEA one, needed a stud. So after playing around with some of the placements, I was like, wait, no, I need to find a stud. So the only stud that was on the wall was on the right side of the mirror. It actually worked out that a stud was literally in the center of the mirror, and the Rudsta shelf, like, the placement was just spot on. So I was measuring the center of the mirror because that's going to be the center of the shelf, because the stud behind the wall, you know, went up and down long enough, so I just wanted to center it to the mirror. Here's the name of the shelf. I have no idea how to pronounce that. And the other thing I was trying to figure out was which direction the shelf goes. It can hold 6.5 pounds, which to me is a pretty decent size plant. And then I didn't know which direction to hang it, because I remember in the store you could hang it flat against the wall, or you could actually have it come out from the wall and you flip it on the side. like this photo here. So I don't know if the part that's coming out from the wall makes any sense from the diagram here, but the plates go on the side versus the front. And so when I was looking at this originally, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it on the side because having it come out from the wall would be kind of cool. And these are the tools that come with the shelf. They actually didn't have a nail that screws into the wall, so I found these in the garage that fit through the metal piece perfectly, and the screw was long enough, I feel like, to reach the stud behind the drywall. So I was just marking where the stud was, like triple checking that I had the right placement. And then yeah, here's me again trying to figure out which way to place this, because in my head I wanted it to go this way, but then I'm like, do I really want it this way? Does it look stupid? And then I'm like, I kind of want it flat. So I had measured it going out from the wall first because the little brackets are hung on different shelves. And so if I wanted it flat, I had to remeasure. And then when I had the plate here, I was like, no, I don't think this is really going to look very good. So I decided to remeasure and have the shelf go flat against the wall. I think that honestly is going to look the best. And I'm glad I made that decision because honestly, it looks really good once I get everything styled. So I was drilling those into the stud, and so that is safe and secure. And then this fit over really easily. I didn't have any issues getting that on at all. And then the only thing that I did have an issue with, and I feel so silly now because looking back at this footage, I was just like, what the heck was wrong? What was I thinking? So the shelves here, I put them on and I'm like, why are they so loose? It doesn't make any sense to me. I was like, they're supposed to hold 6.5 pounds, so why? Like, I feel like it's just gonna fall if I put something here. And then I was trying to take a screwdriver and tighten the screw on the side. I'm like, is it just not tightened? Like, what is going on? And then after staring at it for, I swear, like 30 minutes, I looked again at the instructions because it didn't really specify in the instructions. It was just on the actual photo, you could see that the plate was flipped around. And so it finally dawned on me, and I literally felt so silly. I'm like, how did I miss this? How did I not realize this? You can see my brain just like thinking and working through this, like what the heck? So I didn't realize that like pushed forward and then it attached on the back like this, and it just literally snapped into place, and it's a lot more secure. I just like could not believe it. And then I tested it with some more plant pots and it worked out. So I'm excited for it. I'm glad that I got it. Honestly, it looks really good. I feel like it fit perfectly in the space. Still just could not believe it. And so I found these little thumbtack things. These are extra thumbtacks that I had for my netting that goes across my plant room door. And I figured these would look good than trying to use like an ugly nail. And it gave it a cute little, I don't know, it was round like a flower in a sense. So it worked perfectly. I just pushed that right in because the sign wasn't heavy at all. So that worked out. And then I was trying to measure again just to make sure everything was perfectly aligned. I feel like if something is off center or if it's crooked, it bugs me. I don't know if any of you guys are like that. So I have to make sure it lines up right. And I was holding up the little flower mirrors that I got, but again, I just don't feel like it went with the mirror since I already had a mirror. So I left it blank for now, and then yeah, I'll come back on when the cord covers finally get here. The cord covers finally came in, yay! It's later that evening and I wanted to jump on this. I wanted to get this done. My little cat claw thing. I love this thing so much. So these cord covers are different than the cord covers I got for the lights. These are actually really, really thin and tiny. So ideally it's just meant for one small cord. But like I said earlier, I had some spots in here that needed double cords. It ended up working out like I was able to shove like the fan cord and the grow light cord into one of these. They were pretty easy to cut as well. It recommended using like a saw, but honestly, I didn't even really need to do that. I just made like a little indentation and it snapped right off. I didn't record me doing much of this because I just wanted to get it done and knock it out. I had started working on the cabinet on the right, so this one here I had not done yet. You can see how messy it is. And then this is the one that I just finished, and look how neat and tidy it is. So the cord covers go along the back ledge. Anywhere where there was a cord, I just pressed it against the back and press the cord cover, it had like a sticker on the back side that you secured on, and I had to cut though in between like the fan switch and the grow light switch. There was, you know, the light switch thing, so that couldn't get in the cord cover. It's really hard to see because it was so dark and they're black, so it was hard to see what I actually did, but it was literally just cutting it to size and hooking it on and putting the cord in there. Even though it took a while, it went pretty quickly. It did end up working out and fit in nicely, and then I just kind of finished up, and it is the next morning. I just got out of the shower and I was ready to get back started and get this area finished. And I wanted to give you an overview again of the cord situation. And so everything looks so neat and tidy. I was just so happy to get that part done because it was like a huge weight had lifted on me, because I had waited 3 days to get the cord covers, and I just felt like it set me back a little bit. But I wanted to show you again how neat that they looked. The only place that you could really see the cord is on the bottom part where the connector piece is against the glass, which is totally fine. I kind of have it secured up there and you can't really notice that much. And again, I was trying to show you where I had cut some of the pieces. And then over here on this one, that's what it looks like from the top. So everything's nice and secured. And then the extra piece in between, like the middle grow light, I put a little piece of the cable cover there, so it's attached to the grow light right there, so it kind of made it more taut, so it wasn't like hanging down at all, and so I feel like you can't even really notice that. And then here on the bottom I had cut in between those. I also wanted to give you a look at the cable management box situation behind the cabinet. So everything's on an outlet timer. I have the lights and the fans on this one here, and it's plugged into an outlet timer where the outlet is. And then this big one here I really don't need. I just needed more plugs on the other one, which I didn't have, so that one is working the grow lights hanging from the ceiling. And so they're all on a timer, and then everything is secured in the box, and that literally slides just right over top of it. It honestly is just, it was just perfect. Everything was working out so well. And I wanted to show you, I ended up putting this Polyneura here, and I added a cute little dragonfly decor piece there. And then here's the cabinet handles. I wanted to quickly show you this. We're going to get these put on. This is for the Rudsta wide. I only wanted cabinet handles for the Rudsta. And then I wanted to show you all the lights that are coming on. So they're already set up on the timer. I just had them all off because there wasn't any plants in there for them to be on. And so I was getting those all clicked on. And then the fan, there's 3 settings for the fan: low, medium, high. I ended up putting it on medium. I have one already in my other Rudsta, and then I'm going to be getting these fans for my Millsbow because I am redoing the Millsbow in my plant room as well. These fans are honestly super quiet. The fans that I have for my Millsbow cabinet are really loud, and I do have to turn those off when I'm filming in there quite a bit. It got really bright with the grow lights on, and I still have the overhead light on, so it still looks more bright. It looks so freaking good. I love it so much, and I'm just so excited to get everything in here and decorated and styled. I was really looking forward to doing this part and getting all the Hoyas in here and adding the little pieces that I bought. I feel like that was the most exciting thing for me, and you can see like all this mess that I have. So my goal today is to get all the plants in there and the decor, and then hopefully be able to start cleaning. Here's another look at the cabinet handle. I got this from a Etsy shop as well. So this is a variegated Polyneura. I love Polyneura. I have 5 varieties. I honestly do feel like it was the perfect cabinet handle for the Rudsta. And it also came with a little plastic piece that I guess you insert in here, because I remember reading like in the description that not all cabinet handles are made the same, because I think these are laser printed or something, or 3D printed. And so some might be a little bit more loose than others, but mine actually was a pretty snug fit. I didn't have to use that piece. It just fit on perfectly. There's nothing to screw onto or anything. It just slides right over top. So it's literally the perfect cabinet handle. It fits so nicely, and honestly it looked so freaking stunning. I love it so much. Like, look how perfect that is. It was just freaking stunning. I love this cabinet handle so much. I may eventually get others for the tall Rudsta, but I didn't want to overdo it. I just wanted like the main focus to be the Rudsta wide, I guess, but we'll see. I may get more down the road. I am running out of breath, you guys. I feel like I keep slurring my words. I have been trying to film this voiceover all day. I keep messing up. But here's some of the pottery I got. The little bird pot, I think I found at TJ Maxx, and I think I found this one at TJ Maxx. I had popped in there one afternoon. And so I feel like because these pots kind of fit perfectly with the whole aesthetic, I wanted them on top of the cabinet. And then I also found this at TJ Maxx. It's like a marbled, I guess it's not marble, but it's like a, I don't know what you call it, like some kind of crystal thing. And I wanted this as like a little decor piece on top, and then I could fit a plant pot on top of there. And then I found this at TJ Maxx as well. This was in like the beauty section. I think it's for like a dresser, like beauty items, but I really like the black and gold. And then I have a cute little birdie, and then this is like a butterfly crystal thing that fit the whole butterfly on the wallpaper. I think the little pieces just added, I think it just elevated it a little bit more. Everything already went together so well, but I feel like those little pieces just fit perfectly. And so next up, I wanted to go ahead and get this hung. I have a UFO planter that I potted my original linearis in. I did that last month, and you cannot believe it, you guys. There was actually a stud here where I needed it. I was like blown away that all the studs lined up perfectly to where I wanted them. So this was like super easy to hang. I measured it, made sure I centered it, and here's the UFO planter. So the cord was a little bit long that came with it, so I ended up retying it, and I brought it up a little bit. And it's a little bit kinked at the bottom, like the linearis, because I had it sitting on a shelf for a month. But I got it to get up to a height that I really wanted. Luna was actually after the laser light again. She heard me click it on. So she was wanting to play with it. She's so stinking cute. She didn't really care about the linearis at all. She just wanted the laser light. She's so funny. So I was trying to straighten that out a bit because it was kinked right there. But I liked that height. I feel like that was pretty good. And this UFO planter I got from a like ceramic shop. I bought this like maybe even last year. I don't remember. I bought it such a long time ago. And then I clipped that remaining piece off at the top. So the only interesting thing is watering this because you had to plant it upside down. So I just have to hold something underneath while I water it. It takes like an extra 10 seconds maybe. So I'll see how the linearis does there. And then I forgot I bought these. I think one of you maybe told me to buy, I think they're like a spice rack thing that hangs on the side of the fridge, but it is metal, so it attaches on the Rudsta. And the magnet power of this, you guys, it was like super powerful. It was more powerful than the grow light magnets. But I was trying to figure out where to put these. I had a 2-pack, and so I figured maybe the Rudsta wide they would fit good, and I figured the top shelf probably worked the best because I could fit some smaller plants or props in there, and they would be the closest to the grow lights. And then here is my huge linearis. I figured this one would look really cute right beside the other linearis. I was going to put it in the little bird pot that I bought, and so it would dangle off on the side of the cabinet. There's a ladybug right there. Do you see him? And so that's how that's looking. I think that looks so good there, and it kind of blocks the switch in the back. And then I'm adding a couple more Hoyas up here. This is Hoya Paradisi, which I absolutely love. It has become one of my favorite Hoyas lately, and I have several peduncles coming in on it. I think it looks beautiful sitting up there and trailing, and it popped out a new growth point up top recently. So I'm so excited for that to get really big and bushy. And then I started adding some of my favorite Hoyas in the Rudsta wide. Like the top shelf is probably going to be like my favorite shelf. So I started playing around with some of those. This Carnosa Madara Snow Angel, I was waiting still on the growth point. It has not given me a growth point yet. So I'm sitting that on the top shelf so it could get some really good light. I decided to add some of my favorite Hoyas in here and some of the other ones. And then I had a lot of other stuff to get done today. So I decided to do stuff off camera, and then I pop back on with you the next day to kind of finish up. It is the next day, and I already put so many Hoyas over there. And then this is one bag of props that I ended up taking from yesterday when I was styling all the Hoyas. I ended up chopping. Well, some of the Hoyas I ended up getting rid of, like I chopped all the way back, and some I just pruned. And so this is what's left. I still have a lot to do. It's kind of like a chaotic mess. And then I actually brought my soil mix out and I'm going to repot some of them that are over here that just kind of need to be repotted. Here's what the space is looking like. It is coming together so nicely, and look at all the beautiful Hoyas in there. I'm so excited. It honestly looks so good already, and I have a lot of room for more Hoyas, which is exciting. So here's a couple I wanted to show you that I'm repotting. This is Caudata. This is my regular one. And you can see it's kind of like not really on the trellis that well. I have these potted in a tiny plant pot. This is Thomsonii. It's like a really fuzzy one. So I wanted to put them in a bigger pot that the trellis would actually fit in there better. And so I'm going to use these white pots. These are a 3.5 inch. And so I feel like it would give it enough room that the trellis would fit in there well. And some of these too, I just feel like could use a little like refresh. So I decided to go ahead and take some time to do that. And then I also, after this, decided to spend the rest of the evening cleaning. I had to take apart the white shelf. I had to figure out where the other shelf was going to go on this wall in front of me or beside me. And then I had, just so much cleaning and reorganizing to do. My husband and I actually decided to get out of the house and go to a store to look around, to look at some artwork, because we wanted to replace that mirror that was on the wall, the black one. So I took like a couple hour break just to get out of the house a bit, which was really nice. And we did end up finding something that worked, but you will see that here in the final clip. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play some music, and I will join you actually live to give you a final overview / tour of the space. Hi guys, it is a few days later. This area is completely done. I think I last left off with me disassembling that white shelf that the Hoyas were on, and then I shut the camera off and I started to clean up and rearrange. I had another shelf to figure out where to go, and then I wanted to take this black mirror that was over here off, and we found a different piece of artwork that fits the space really well, and we love it. And yeah, that took kind of the rest of the evening to get that all cleaned up. And then I've had other responsibilities and work to do the last couple of days, well, and today, so I'm popping on finally to give you an overview and to share the space with you. Now that I've been sitting with it for a few days, it's like a dream Hoya area for me. I absolutely love it. I don't really know the right word to describe the area. Kind of like a little touch of vintage in a way. I think my favorite is the wallpaper, 100%. As soon as I saw that wallpaper when I was searching, I fell in love with it immediately. I loved the like little hints of blue and green tones. I love the butterflies, the flowers. I never would have thought to do wallpaper until a few of you suggested it to me, and thank you so much, because I feel like it turned out amazing and I love it. It did take a little extra work, to get it on, when I was building the cabinets, but 100% worth it. I'm so happy with it. And then what ties it all in together, I believe, is the mirror. Again, when I saw the mirror when I was searching for something for the spot, because the original plan was to put, you know, the shelves on this wall, and I was going to take the black mirror down, and I was going to do like a gallery wall with like a mirror and some other stuff, but I ended up not really doing a gallery wall. It was just like the mirror being the focal point, and I love the mirror. It just, I feel like it ties in with the birds and the flowers on it, and it's not like brassy or gold, but it's like that hint of color, and it ties into the wallpaper perfectly with those tones. I do really love the light situation I decided to go with. Again, I feel like the light shade just matches with the overall vibe of what I was going for. And then concealing the cord, I feel like it blends in nicely. And then I have the really cheap dimmable grow lights in there. I have them on a max setting, like the dimmable switch, it's all the way up to max. I feel like the grow light itself isn't as bright, so it may not be giving off, you know, the most ideal light, but it is a full spectrum light, and I actually like that it's not so bright and overwhelming for this space. And I'll see how the plants do under it. I feel like as long as they continue to grow and do well, then it's enough light for me. And there's a pile of ladybugs on one of the plants under the light, so they must be happy because I feel like the ladybugs are really attracted to the warmth. I was letting some more off yesterday, or some more out. I released more beneficials, and so I put a few more ladybugs out here, so they're like all gathering. I loved all the cute little decor pieces I picked out as well. I have like 4 or 5 things I'm returning back to Amazon that didn't work out for the gallery wall, because I had planned on hanging more photos and stuff and doing something completely different. I feel like the only decoration piece that I'm not in love with is the little plate that we hung very last, because I wasn't planning on hanging that. I was planning on hanging the little flower mirror, but I didn't want the 2 mirrors together. It just didn't look right. So I may eventually switch that out to something else if I find the right piece, and just use that as like a saucer plate. But it does match and it does look good in that spot so far. As far as all the plants, I'm able to fit all of my Hoyas. Most of them are in the cabinets, and then I have several that are on top, like hanging, and I have a couple on top of each cabinet. And then the bottom of the cabinets are clean of plants. I'm actually going to use the bottom, I think, for Hoya supplies, like plant stakes, clips, shears, like a repotting mat, maybe like a small thing of soil. That way, say I'm out here doing some Hoya care and I'm like, oh, I need a trellis, or oh, I want to like prop a couple plants, or oh, I need a clip or something like that. It's like accessible for me right under there, and I can easily grab it. So I'm going to create like a little repotting station with all my supplies together just for my Hoyas, and keep that under there. And so yeah, it'll be there for when I need it, and I feel like it'll save a lot of like back and forth between here and my plant room and everything else. I do have a lot of room, I feel like, for more Hoyas, which is always a good thing. And I did downsize a few Hoyas as well. The bigger Hoyas I actually moved out onto the patio. I didn't want them in here. I'm not really in love with those Hoyas, and when I did my collection video, I mentioned that, so I'm gonna leave them outside, and I'll probably propagate them all the way back, but for now, they're just chilling on the patio because I didn't really have anywhere to put them. And then I did completely chop back a few other Hoyas that, you know, once the props are gone, I'm no longer going to be growing that Hoya. I don't think I will miss them. And there's also a few more Hoyas that I put in here that I'm not really in love with anymore, so I may eventually let those go as well. I did put all the new Hoyas I got as well here, so I'm excited to grow those out and see how they're going to do. I feel like for the most part, all the Hoyas should grow fairly well. And the only thing that I didn't do that I might do is weather stripping. So I grow pretty much everything in ambient, and then all of my cabinets that I have are not weather stripped. So it's a little bit more humid in there, but not by a significant amount, I would say. It really depends on the day, but I noticed the Rudsta tall, like, or I guess the wide, has another big opening in the center where the 2 doors open, and so you have the slits on the edge and the center. So my meter in there is reading humidity of about 50%. I think yesterday it was like 46 or so. So I feel like the environment in there is about the same as out here, humidity wise. So I may eventually, if I feel like I want to provide more humidity, I may weather strip, but I may not, because I prefer to grow in ambient and my plants are adjusted to those conditions. I might see how it goes over winter. If I feel like a little extra humidity might help with growth, then I may eventually weather strip, but it's in the back of my mind that I may think about doing it, but I don't know, because I like growing in ambient conditions. I also feel like I'm always going to be rearranging as plants grow, and I'll get to work with the space that I have here. And I love the acrylic shelves. I love the styles that I got, because normally I get just a flat shelf, and I decided to go with 2 half shelves for the tall Rudsta on one of them instead of a full shelf. And then the wider Rudsta, I did that little, I think it's like a butterfly shelf. It has the hole in the middle, which was perfect because with the trellis on a lot of these Hoyas, it hit the shelf layer. So having that little hole in the middle allowed for some taller Hoyas to go in there. And same with the taller Rudsta, the half shelf, I put a taller Hoya with a trellis so that there was enough room. I put some of my favorite Hoyas in each cabinet, so I wouldn't have like a favorite cabinet, but there is already one cabinet that's probably like not really the misfits, but the ones that aren't necessarily my favorite, and some of them I may eventually downsize. So there is one cabinet that technically isn't my favorite, but I tried to like even it out a little bit, you know? And I love the top of the cabinets with the plants that I chose to put on top. 3 of them are Polyneura, so I feel like they can tolerate a bit lower light. So we'll see, like I said earlier, how the other ones do. But I love the space, and it just opened up the dining area. It was funny because even my husband was like, that's the first time I saw the table all year, because I've had so much storage on this table, just you name it, it just got covered. And so now the table is completely empty and there's nothing on this back wall. And so it's really open now, and I feel like it's a lot more spacious, which I really like. And I like that you can't really see the Hoyas from the kitchen either. You wouldn't really know this is here unless you're walking by it. I also got a comment recently about someone's like, how come you don't have any plants in your living room? Like, I could not have any plants in the living space. But what they didn't see was off to the left of the frame was the Hoyas, and then behind me is the anthurium shelf. And then I'm also taking 2 of our 4 bedrooms for plants. So I do have a lot of plant spaces in here, but I also wanted to respect the space as well, because my husband, you know, we do live together, and I didn't want plants all on top of him, like all over the living room. I would probably add a few plants here and there, but also we don't have any light in this house. That patio is all north facing, so there's not really any light that gets to the living room. And then obviously here in the dining room is completely dark. I just have the overhead light on, and then the light from the grow lights in the cabinets. And there's just one west or east window over by the kitchen where the anthuriums are, and that's it. There's like no light. So even if I wanted to put a couple plants, like they would need a grow light. And I just didn't want to bring like a bunch of grow lights and plants all over the place in here. I think the only thing that I might do is I could add like a plant like on one of those shelves with a grow light, because there is a plug over there, and bring like one piece of greenery. Yeah, I didn't want to clutter the living room space. And then again, anything that would go here without a grow light would probably just slowly wither away, because there's just no light coming in. I'm really glad the space is all done, and I feel so much better about my Hoyas. I do feel like Hoyas are probably a plant genus that I'm into as of lately because they're not big. I honestly have kind of fallen out of phyllos and like really big plants. I'm always gonna love my monsteras and alocasias. But philodendron I've kind of fallen out of love with, so I'm kind of replacing that with Hoyas. And for me, they're really easy to grow and propagate, and I love them. So I wanted like a dedicated, nice space for them, so I'm really happy with it. And yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was worth it, and we have our dining room back. The crazy setup that I had done before, I don't know what I was thinking. Getting that shelf, I knew the moment I put it together, I didn't like it, and yeah, it just wasn't a good space. But this is a complete 180. It looks completely different. But thank you so much for coming along with me. And if you have any questions about anything that I did while I was doing this process, let me know. I did buy everything either on Amazon or Etsy, I believe. A lot of the decor though, and plant pots I bought locally, either from TJ Maxx, and I love my Ace Hardware. They have really cute decor pieces in there. I am going to be filming a plant update probably at the end of the month, just like a walkthrough of my collection. I feel like it's been a bit. I filmed my plant tour. I think it's going on probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago. So I'll probably film an update soon because I did make some changes over here as well. And then obviously like my plant room, I downsized some more plants in there. And then the Rudsta, the green one, I'm actually moving to my shop room. I haven't set that up yet. So I have to do all that. That's probably going to take some time because I have to rearrange some things in there. So that's going to be like another day's work of stuff to do in there. But I'll probably work on that maybe next week. But yeah, I'll film an update soon and fill you in. And I'll let you know again after a couple weeks here how the Hoyas are settling in and how they're doing and if I've made any other changes or anything like that. But thank you so much for watching and for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you again soon.